Good afternoon, my name is Sash and Raquel.
And I'm Raquel Martins, and welcome to LTYou.
Looks like we've got a pretty interesting show today, Raquel.
We do. It's got some exciting people lined up to talk to and some exciting segments, so stay tuned. On the show today, we'll discuss the first year experience and give you some tips and tricks on how to survive. James calls attention to some of the risks of Facebook and asks the question, should we delete it? Living on campus does have its advantages, but what about the disadvantages? What really goes on, and what are some of the safe practices to help you with your stay? And we also have the president from the Trobe Quidditch Club live in the studio to help us wrap our head around one of the quirkiest sports the university has to offer.
Okay. Sorry, I've lost my spot.
That's
Where
okay.
are we?
Just going to be going. Yep.
Absolutely. So, Mark Zuckerberg has vowed to do better but look after the private information that comes with the data of all its 1 billion users around the world. This comes after the reveal that the political consultant company Cambridge Analytica was caught using Facebook for data mining. Now, the scandal has taken over his company, but Zuckerberg plans to take control by bringing in new security measures to help prevent any further dangers. Now, 30 Australian celebrities have come together to launch and help promote a crowdfunded addressing the increasing amount of incidents of sexual harassment in the workplace. Now, the Now campaign, led by journalist Tracy Spicer, aims to raise $250,000 to assist the victims of sexual harassment. Celebrities involved in the campaign, including Tina Arena, Missy Higgins and Deborah Mailman. About $20,000 has been raised so far. Now, dark times have hit Australian cricket after the bowler Cameron Bancroft was caught with tampering the ball in the third test against South Africa. Bancroft was found using a piece of yellow tape with dirt on to scuff the match ball. The captain, Steve Smith, has been stood down by the ICC for the fourth test after admitting the plan to cheat against South Africa. Now, Essendon fans are looking hopeful into the 2018 season after their upset over the last year's grand finalist Adelaide. With a 20-point deficit at the end of the third quarter, with support of their passionate home crowd, Essendon scored the last 5 goals of the game to win by 12 points. And now in the AFLW, the Bulldogs have beaten the Brisbane Lions with the first premiership. Now, it was a nail-biter with 4 quarters ending it tied in a 1-goal difference. The Bulldogs pulled through, ignoring all frustrations towards the controversy towards Katie Brennan and her suspension. Now, we have a short video that I just wanted to show you, Raquel, so we could show our viewers out there what exactly we're talking about. We've got the tackle on that suspended Katie Brennan. Yep. We've also got this ball tampering that has basically got Twitter, Facebook, any social media, all the news stations talking about it. Let's have a look at it now. So as you can see, he's pretty aware that there would be cameras watching him there.
You'd think so, being such a big game.
I mean, look at that. That's obvious, to say the least.
Just a little.
Right, so looking at that, thoughts?
You'd think in today's day and age, people would be aware that, athletes would be aware that there's cameras watching them, there's people, thousands of spectators all over the world watching the sport. Why would you even try to pull something like that off? It's such an obvious thing to do in the middle of the game. It
is obvious, and what I think I found most concerning was that he's a bit of a newbie. They threw him under the bus.
Yep.
These guys are now saying, oh, we're banned for one game. Excuse me, personally, I think off you go.
It's not fair sort of showing the others that if they do want to tamper with the game and with the rules, they're only going to get a one game ban. So, it's not really that much of a consequence if you think about it.
And just going back to the AFLW, finished with a great, exciting match. But in the lead up to that game, we had Katie Brennan that was suspended due to a sling tackle. Now, we do have a little bit of audio in regard to President Gillan McLachlan just responding to the fact that now she's going to take that higher to the Human Rights Commission. So if we could have a listen to that.
Yeah, well, I can see that it is a different set of rules. I look at it whether it's too harsh and whether what's the intent of the rules. And I think there's a fair.
Okay, so basically, if that came through, he was just basically saying they're going to be reviewing not only that particular decision, but the AFLW for the season being a short season. Gillan was concerned that he thinks that it's gone a little bit too far. He doesn't agree with the Human Rights Commission movement, but understands that their Bulldogs need to go on and do what they need to do. So what are your thoughts in regards to, A, not having her play, and B, the next level up, going straight to a high court?
Look, I've heard a little bit about this story over the past few days, and it's, I guess, being one of the first finals, it's a bit of an upset that she couldn't play.
Yes.
Whether or not, you know, she warranted, I've heard a lot of people talking about whether or not, you know, she should have been banned, whether the tackle was, or banned from that game, whether that tackle was really as bad as what it was made out to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hard one, because obviously she wants to be able to take that to the next level. And
she does, and I feel like we've seen worse. There comes a lot of chat about equality, the fact that it's unfair because they don't get paid as much. So if she was able to be fined, like a particular couple of players were last year in the men's grand final, they were allowed to play because they could afford the $5,000. They were saying the equivalent would be around $260.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard with the big pay gap with women's footy. Having started, it's something that's been, you know, a big discussion topic since the AFLW kicked off. So, you know, having the two leagues sort of combine and have the same fair playing ground. Obviously, having the girls getting paid as much might be hard. They don't have the sponsors. They might not have the viewers as of yet, but.
Well, that's the thing. There are viewers, but then you've got the AFL claims that they're equal and they're trying to make it work for the women. Yet they release something like the AFLX.
Yep.
Now that fell in between the women's season. It took a lot of funding away from them, and then you've also got round one of the men's starting the same weekend that the grand final was on for the women. That takes away using stadiums that would get a bigger capacity. You know, would avoid things like the weather on the weekend was horrendous.
Horrible.
No one wants to go and sit in the rain, yet we couldn't have it at Etihad because there was a men's game. So you talk about equality, but yet you're not really showing
They're
it.
Still pushing the men's games favouring them over the women's, which is a bit sad to see. But hopefully with the next season, we'll be able to see more of a push for a bit more equality with the women's games and giving them that ground time.
Yeah. Now let's just go back to the cricket, because I'm still pretty fired up about this. I'm not happy that Steve Smith is, you know, oh yes, I'll take it on the chin, but I won't step down. That's not really sending a great message to young Australian children that want to play, and that cheating's wrong. And I think the right thing to do would be to step down and give someone else an opportunity. Especially there's been a few articles that have come out recently that have said Australia has always bagged other countries for cheating. Yet here we are. It's
funny how things like that sort of come around and bite you in the bum eventually.
Watch what you say on live television, don't you?
Definitely. It's it shouldn't be happening in any sport, and the fact that it's happened with our Australian team is, you know, it's really upsetting that they think they can get away with it, and that he's trying to get out of, you know, any real consequences and stepping down from his position. So.
And I mean, to go back to the equality, look at the women's cricket team, smashing it. No cheating there.
They're doing really well.
They don't get paid much at all, and they're winning left, right and centre. So, you know, maybe there's something to be said from taking a leaf out of their book on fair play.
Exactly.
Now, look, while we're here and we're looking out at the beautiful students of La Trobe, there's so much rainbow.
There is. It's so fantastic to see the university, you know, really taking on and making the university such a great environment for all of its students. Doesn't matter who you are or, you know, what you want to do.
Exactly.
The university is going to be here for you.
There's lots of great organisations. The Student Union does a wonderful job with the community. And, you know, any new students out there that feel like they need a bit of support, just go on to the Student Online website. There's clubs, there's a lot to get involved in, and I mean, we're going to be talking about the census and the importance of that shortly. But yeah, if you're not in the Agora, why aren't you? Because look at this rainbow.
There's some awesome stuff going on. They've got some music, and I think they might be having a barbecue later on, so everyone loves free food. So get down and get your hands on that.
I'm just going to go now. All right, so we have a friendly public service announcement from the team at LTYou. That's us.
That's us.
And it's about the census story. Now, what we just want to let everyone know is there's an important date. We don't want you guys to be forking out for money of things that you are not studying. So you really need to be aware of this date. We've even organised a bright, colourful package for you guys to have a look at. So here we go. Or not.
We'll just...
Well, let's talk about it. We don't need a bright package. We've got our faces. So, March 31st is the date, and it's important because you don't want to be caught paying for a subject that you've decided is absolutely not your cup of tea. So please get on to your student online. You can withdraw without fail. Mm-hmm. You can pick something you might find a bit more interesting, or if you're struggling, you might just need to have a break with less subjects.
Yeah.
So as I said before, let's have a look at it.
Surrounding, the census date, there's quite a bit of a stigma around, I think there is a little bit of a confusion too about this census date and what does it really mean? What does it mean for the students? How can we avoid paying for subjects that we don't really want to do?
Yeah.
It's good that we do have, a few weeks before the census date and once uni has started to really get a look at the subjects that we've enrolled for, because if we don't like them, if it's something we're not interested in, we're better off not having to sit through it for the 12 weeks.
Or if you feel like the load of study is too much, which, leads me to let's talk about dropping out. Mm-hmm. Now, that's something that I don't know about you, but I've dropped out before and here I am again, but I've made what I think is the decision because I've taken time to do that. But if you are thinking about dropping out of uni, you've had a change of heart, maybe you don't want to be a science major, you really want to be a creative arts person, you can take the time to do that. It's not a bad thing to want to make the right decision for you, and whether you've got family pressuring you or you think you need to earn a certain amount of money to, later in life, what I would suggest is utilising the tools that university does have to offer, regardless of if you're going to drop out or not.
Definitely.
Because there's lots of I would say counselling, there's well-being.
The university has so many different, things that you can go and, so many different people you can go and talk to if you're stuck on, is this degree the right choice for me? Even coming through as a Year 12 student, as a high school student, before you make that decision, there's, people you can talk to at open days, at Experience the Trobe, it's the best to get out and just try and find out as much as you can beforehand. And if you still can't decide on what you want to do and you end up choosing something and then once you're enrolled you think, I don't think this is the right decision.
This is for me.
It's okay to, take a step back, maybe work for 6 months, work for the year, go and do some travelling, do some internships and then come back to your uni degree. The uni is always going to be here.
They say, taking a gap year, lots of people do that now because that gives them time to figure out their lives.
It's hard to know, like how are we meant to know when, usually coming out of Year 12 you're about 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, super young.
And you're choosing the degree that's, it's going to set you up for the rest of your life. So
exactly,
you don't want to make the wrong decision and then be stuck doing something that you don't love.
And it's a different time now, we're not our parents. We didn't have to do the same job on and on. But like I said, lots of services, go on to Student Online, it's all there. But let's move on to something a little less serious, a little bit more fun, but also it's about clubs, communities.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a guest with us. And here at LTYou, we believe that the social environment is one of the most important parts of uni. And this week we have someone very involved in the Trobe social community, the president of the Quidditch Club. Welcome. Lexi.
It's actually vice president.
We've just promoted you. Just go with that. But welcome to our show. Thank you for coming. Now tell us, Quidditch. What is it?
It's a full contact, all gender sport. It started around 12, 13 years ago in the US. and it's kind of just progressed to be a worldwide phenomenon. Like every
Yeah,
2
that's pretty
years
cool.
there's the World Cup. There's various countries that have their national leagues, including Australia. It's just kind of exploded out of nowhere.
Wow, I didn't realise had become such a serious sport, like having nationals and the World Cup every 2 years. That's really cool.
Yeah, where does sponsorship for that sort of stuff come? Does Harry Potter himself just throw money at people? I mean, do you find, is there sponsorship?
From as I understand it, sponsorship is rather limited, and a lot of it's either self-funded or crowd-funded.
Yeah.
Like a couple years ago, there was a massive crowdfunding just to get Uganda to World Cup.
Wow.
Yeah, and while mild sponsors can exist, it's rare because of the kind of stigma that
Yeah.
comes with the sport.
Yeah, right. And so how long has the club been going at Latrobe?
Latrobe Quidditch has been operating since 2015.
Yep. So not too long.
Yeah.
Still quite young.
When did you start playing with the Latrobe? Is it the Trobe Trolls?
Yeah, I joined the Trolls at the start of last year, but I've been playing the sport since 2014.
And where were you playing before you joined Latrobe?
I started playing with the Mandrakes in Western Australia.
Okay.
Then I moved on to start my own team in WA called the Chimeras, and then upon moving to Melbourne, I joined the Trolls.
Oh, beautiful. And what made you choose Quidditch? Out of all the sports you could have chosen, you chose Quidditch.
I really like Quidditch because it's a young sport that's really easy to get into, and I, in particular, like the gender diversity of the sport. Like the sport's completely in recognition of non-binary gender, and
That's amazing. That's great.
in particular, the big reason is the gender rule. Like you're saying earlier that there's no equality in the AFL between
Yeah.
the women's and the men's.
Yes.
Well, in Quidditch, there's a rule that you can't have any more than 4 people of the same gender on pitch at a time.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And with Quidditch, do you train regularly? What do you do when you're training?
Latrobe trains twice a week, and like we'll start training with a bit of a warm up, then some fitness. We'll go on to some passing, just to warm up and reinforce those basic skills,
Yeah.
and then we'll like go into tactics and practice drills based on situations that show up in game.
All right. One question that's been on my mind is the equipment. Where do you get it from? Or do you make it?
All Quidditch equipment you'll find is homemade.
Yeah, right.
In the US and Europe, there are like full-on manufacturers of Quidditch gear like Peterson's and stuff like that. But in Australia, it tends to all be homemade out of Bunnings equipment. Like it's mostly PVC.
Yeah, right. There you go.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't know that.
Now, do you have to be a fan of Harry Potter before you start? I had a bit of a chat with you about this before we started, and I was surprised to learn that you hadn't actually seen Harry Potter before you joined the Quidditch team or before you started playing.
You don't need to be a fan of Harry Potter or even seen or read it. Like growing up, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere near Harry Potter, and I didn't actually read it or watch the movies until I'd been playing for a good couple years.
Wow.
Like,
How did you get involved then? Is that okay to ask that question?
Yeah,
You look very tense.
yeah, I was just walking with a friend, talking to him, and he ended up at the Quidditch training because that's where he was going.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I got nothing to do for the next couple
I'm just going
hours.
to join in and play some Quidditch.
Yeah.
Now you're vice president / president.
I'm not president.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I just kept coming back, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
We sent our reporter,
Yeah.
Astrid, to one of your training sessions earlier this week. How do you think she went?
She seemed to pick it up all right. Like, yeah, I believe she tried some chasing and she also joined us with our like basic warm-up drills, and
Yeah.
I hope she had a good time. Like, she seemed to be enjoying it.
We'll find out soon, but I want to do people feel silly playing it? I know that's a really naive question to ask, but
You're running with like a broom in between your legs, and it's you
is
wouldn't
it
usually
a
do
fun
that.
silly, or do you just forget that that's not a thing anymore?
You don't think about it. Like, you just... Like, it's like every sport has a handicap. Like, soccer, you can't touch the ball with
Yeah.
your hands. In soccer, do you feel silly kicking a ball
true.
around?
Yeah.
It's-
The snitch. Can we talk about it?
Sure.
Tell me more, because I am one of those people that hasn't really seen Harry Potter a lot. So I'd love to know, and I'm sure there's people out there.
How does it work with human?
The snitch is basically it's a person, like, they're not really a player. The snitch is considered an official. It's basically a person dressed in yellow with yellow shorts on and a tail velcroed at the back, and the snitch has to do whatever it takes to stop the seekers from grabbing that ball at the back.
When you say whatever it takes,
Yeah, it's a
what
tackling.
does that-
Is it?
how much
Sorry.
are we talking?
Unlike the players, the snitch is able to use two hands, and they also don't have a broom. They can remove the broom from the players. They can put the players on the ground. They can shove them around. They can body block them.
Is there is it like a soccer pitch where you're stuck in the rectangle? Is there is it fenced off sort of? Is there a spot? Or are you allowed anywhere?
Yeah, we have a hard boundary. Like, you can go outside the soft boundary, but you can't leave the hard boundary.
What's the difference between soft boundary, hard boundary?
The hard boundary is absolute,
So that's the final, can't go any further than that?
Whereas, like, the soft boundary, the snitch can't be caught in it, and
Okay.
there's, like, specific rules in regards to balls outside the soft boundary.
And do you guys play other universities?
Yeah, in Victoria, we have the Victoria Cup, in which, in all of Australia, the university teams and the community teams play in the same league.
Yeah. That's all right. We'll cut to see what Ash is doing so you can maybe get yourself a drink of water, hey?
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Hello, my name is Astrid. I'm here today to join Trobe's Quidditch Club. I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I guess we'll have a lot of fun.
I have been the president for the past 3 years, which is also as long as Trobe's Club has existed. In real life, we don't actually fly, at least not yet until someone figures out how to do it, then we're going to be first in line. We do have to hold the sticks between our legs. The rulebook doesn't allow any sort of Velcro or straps to keep the broom in place while you're running around.
It's a cross between lacrosse, rugby, and there is contact. There's tackling, which involves one-arm tackles, and there is a bit of contact, and it has aspects of netball as well. There's the quaffle, which is the ball that we score through the hoops. So each hoop is worth 10 points. You can score the quaffle through behind or in front of the hoops as well.
The chasers play generic sort of get the ball through the hoop to score points. The beaters play dodgeball, and they can hit anyone on the opposing team.
There's the bludgers, which there are 2 beaters on each team, and they control the bludgers. There's 3 bludgers in play at one time. If it hits them on the full, then the opposition has to dismount their brooms, run back and touch their defensive hoops, and then remount their broom.
Long around. And again. There we go. Beautiful.
So the snitch is someone wearing yellow shorts with a tail on the back. So the tail is essentially a sock velcro to the back with a tennis ball in it, and the seeker's role is to try and catch the snitch, and they can use one hand to catch the snitch. Latrobe has been around for 3 seasons now. In the first 2 seasons we only won 1 match each year, and then last year, which was our best season by far, we won about 7 matches.
I first started playing because I had a whole bunch of friends who I knew through various different avenues who all played Quidditch, and they all told me it was a great time and I should join and I'll have a great time.
I'd read all the books when I was in primary school and beginning of high school, and then I'd watched all the movies as well before I started Quidditch and learned about it. So I was a Harry Potter fan, and there is a mix between us in the team.
It's really fun, and I really feel this special social spirit on the team. It seems like people really cares about each other. It was way harder than I expected because it has some physical aspects as well.
Get me some water.
It was easy for me to attend this club. I haven't seen a lot of Harry Potter, as I mentioned, but I could definitely still be a part of the team. And it's way more fun than standing in a fitness center.
So, how did our roving road tester Astrid do?
Pardon?
How did Astrid go? How was her form?
For a beginner, I feel like she did pretty reasonable.
Should she look at joining the team anytime soon?
She didn't mention. She's more than welcome to come back.
I think she enjoyed it, so we might see her playing Quidditch with you guys in a few weeks.
Yeah, true.
So if students are interested in joining the Quidditch club, how can they go about doing that?
You're able to contact us on our Facebook page. We also have a public group that we occasionally put information into. Alternatively, we do train every Tuesday and Thursday from 5 till 7 at that patch of grass behind the library. So even if you just show up, it's fine.
Yeah, cool.
That's pretty cool. And you mentioned something earlier that I wanted to ask about with the officials. Is there a ref or an umpire in the game, or
yes.
How does that work?
There's 7 refs.
7?
Why so many?
You got your head ref, who is like a football official, follows the ball, keeps the game running, and basically has final say in everything and keeps the chaser game going. Yep. You've got 4 assistant refs, which watch the beater game and call out beats, making sure everything functions there. And then you've got 2 goal refs, which are the side umpires in AFL. They just, goal, no goal, didn't see it. And it's actually 8. There's also the snitch ref, which follows the snitch around and can stop the game if a successful snitch catch has happened.
And are you the snitch?
I'm not the team snitch, no.
How do you get the snitch position?
You really just say you're willing to snitch. I was just snitching that because I know how to do it. I was teaching some new seekers.
And what position do you usually play?
I usually play beater.
And what does that position involve usually in a game? What do you do?
You basically have dodgeballs, and you throw dodgeballs at other players, and if they get hit by one, they have to go back to hoops before they can interact with gameplay again. Wow,
it sounds like you've got to have a pretty good hand-eye coordination for this game. Is that true, do you think?
I mean, it certainly helps. In all honesty, my hand-eye coordination is awful. It's the kind you kind of get used to it.
Yeah. And I have another sort of weird question, I guess, but I noticed in that they're wearing gloves, and is there special gloves that you wear? Is it like baseball gloves? What?
Generally in Quidditch, people wear football receiver gloves.
Oh, right. Thought I recognised those.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Any more that we should...
Your favourite position? What's the position, even if it's not the one you're currently playing, what's the one position that is your favourite and that is the most sort of fought over position?
I mean, most people end up chasing, but I feel like the most competitive position would be seeker, because like you only have one seeker on pitch at a time, and it's only on pitch for about 5 minutes.
What does a seeker do for those of us that don't know?
The seeker catches the snitch to end the game,
Right.
which, finishes the game and scores the team an extra 30 points.
All right.
And how does the point system work in Quidditch? Do you follow the same sort of rules as they do in Harry Potter, in the movies and in the books? Or
Similar point system. Every time you get the quaffle through the hoops, no matter which hoop it is, it's 10 points. And a snitch catch, this is where it's different, is rather than being 150 points, which is total BS, it's just 30 points, which it's enough to change the trajectory of a game, but not too much that it completely rigs it.
Yeah, right. And when do you guys play? What days and when? Is there any tournaments coming up that we can...
The Victoria Cup starts on... I believe it's the 8th of April.
Oh, cool. Very
and
soon.
And then it runs throughout the year with a game each Sunday. Like we play one team each Sunday.
And are you doing any special training or extra training in the lead up to that, or is it just the usual?
We're doing our usual Tuesday and Thursday, and a bunch of the Victorian teams are getting together for one mega training.
Oh, wow.
That'd be cool.
Sounds fun.
And is there a sport you can kind of compare it to? Is there or like a group of sports
Every
that
time
it's
you
kind of
ask-
similar to?
Every time you ask someone, you're going to get a different answer.
Yeah.
But for me personally, it's rugby, NFL, competitive dodgeball, and wrestling.
All in one.
Yeah.
Wow. It sounds pretty full on. But
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a little bit intense.
While you're here, I might just talk about, because we've got these rainbows and everything out there, are you guys affiliated with the LGBTQI community with Quidditch?
Because of the Quidditch gender rule and the specific point in the rule book where it says that we recognise like non-binary genders and the gender you say you are is the gender you play as, we tend to attract the LGBT community a lot.
Yep.
But I wouldn't say there's a direct affiliation,
No.
but there are a lot more queer people that play Quidditch than people that, say, play other sports,
Yeah.
like ratio-wise, because it's advertised as an inclusive and an accepting sport.
That's really, really important. And just sort of going back to, I play AFL at the moment, just locally, and we are struggling with how to, become inclusive, but also be a female football club. And that's something that personally I've never come across before, and I want to understand more. And I think having clubs like yourselves is really, really important, especially for new students coming into the university, to make, doesn't matter who you are, what you are, that you feel a part of that. And I think you're sort of leading the way in sport, because you've got all these older sports that are struggling with understanding it.
There's that segregation
Yeah.
between the men's and the women's sport. There's nothing
And
really
calling
that's...
it men's and women's.
Yeah, it divides it up already. It just means that, people can't just come in and feel comfortable playing with the sport.
It also blocks, like, say, non-binary players. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard of so many people who grew up playing AFL or soccer or some gendered sport, and then all of a sudden realised they were non-binary or trans and been like, oh no,
Where does
I
that
can't
leave me?
sport now.
Yeah.
Well, going into completely different other sports, competitive online gaming. Now, I don't feel like gender would be an issue there. So we've got some information about that. I think it's called COG. I'm a pretty naive to the online. I don't know about you.
I don't know too much about it. I've seen, seen a little bit of what we've put together for everyone today. But besides that, I haven't really had a chance to, I've done the PlayStation, the Xbox, I've done that.
I think we've all done that in our youth at some point. But.
Yeah, the online gaming it's something that's become really, really big. It's something that's starting to grow worldwide.
Becoming competitive,
It is. Yeah.
Well, let's check it out.
COGS is the La Trobe University Competitive Online Gaming Society. We're both a competitive and casual gaming society. We do a lot of social sort of stuff, a lot of competitive stuff with other universities, as well as, just local internal university competitions. So like in the esports room, we'll play against each other and we do other small competitions.
So we run all manner of different events. So we run competitive teams, we run meet and greets, we run Eagle Bar meetups, all these various things, video game type things. We also run world viewings and everything for like viewing parties for like League of Legends, all this other random stuff.
We play a lot of like multiplayer online games, so a lot of Dota, League of Legends, Overwatch, Rocket League, Counter-Strike. A lot of us have been playing PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, a lot of Fortnite, some Xbox games. So we'll play some Forza, a bit of Battlefield, that sort of thing. It's a pretty big mix. Pretty much anything and everything we'll play. Current tournaments we'll be doing are Uni Nationals or Uni Games, so that'll be a League of Legends only tournament. We're going to be doing a lot of other League of Legends tournaments with other universities, so a local Uni Rumble. We're also going to be competing in the open tournament for other universities in Counter-Strike, Dota and Rocket League. And we'll also be trying to get people for other smaller tournaments such as Hearthstone, PUBG, Fortnite, that sort of thing.
I enjoy single player video games because I enjoy the story of those. It's really good. Like it's a cool medium to explore, and then also I also enjoy the idea of getting continuously better at a game and getting that satisfaction of seeing yourself improve and all that stuff. That's the main reason I play video games.
Definitely reach out to us on Facebook. So we're LTYou Cogs. You can find it LTYou Cogs. Sorry, you can find us on Facebook. We have a LTSU page. So if you search in the LTSU clubs page, you'll be able to find LTYou Cogs there, and you can apply. You can submit your application to join, and we'll just sort that out there.
How good does COGS look?
I know, it's pretty cool. I didn't think there'd be a club like that, or a club for online gaming at the university.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be there's clubs for everything, but gaming has, as far as I'm aware, and I apologise to anyone out there that's super into gaming, I don't know a lot about it, but it looks pretty cool to me.
It does. Though, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook. There's been, memes galore and, little clips of stuff. I think it's Fortnite is a game that's really big at the moment.
Yeah.
I know someone I work with has been playing that for a while, and he'll just tell me stuff at work, and I'm just like, what? I can relate because I've seen the meme on Facebook, but that's about as far as it's that's about as far as it's going to go.
Yeah, nice. Now let's go into something a little bit less virtual. Living on campus. Have you done it?
No, I haven't. I think it'd be really exciting though. It'd be something that's really fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd go with, living with so many people in a little bit of a confined space.
I mean, I always, in my mind, go straight to American teen movies.
Likewise.
So I think maybe we'll have a look and see if I'm right or wrong. Yeah.
For many students, going to university means having to move out of home due to the great distances they would have to travel to get to university otherwise.
I'm originally from Bendigo, and the course that I wanted to study wasn't available there, so I had to move to Melbourne.
Like most other universities in Australia, La Trobe provides an on-campus accommodation service for either students like Joanna or for international students on exchange.
So at La Trobe University in Bundoora, there are 3 main colleges. There's Chisholm, which mainly hosts international students who are coming from overseas to study. They have to cook their own food, but it's really, really close to uni, so it's a really good campus for them to stay at because they're close to all of the university facilities. Then there's Menzies College. Menzies hosts around 300 students. There's lots of recreational facilities there, such as a gym and a sauna, a cinema, a gaming centre. Then there's Glen College. Glen has a dining hall and students are actually provided with breakfast, lunch and dinner every day. They don't have to cook for themselves. The rooms are pretty similar to Menzies. The 2 colleges are pretty similar. It just varies in pricing and different facilities offered.
Living on campus can be a fun experience for many, a great way to meet and interact with other students.
The best part about living on campus is definitely meeting new people. There's about 300 people on my college, all from different parts of Australia, and we've just made so many friends. Another benefit is it's about a 5-minute walk to class just over the moat, so you don't have to get up early, it's just easy. On top of that, there's lots of other activities that run outside of the uni. We have different events on the college, whether it's recreational or sporting events, parties, different things like that.
The thing I really like to live in a campus that is I have a lot of chance to make a friend with a friend who come from the other countries, and yeah, we also have a party every single week.
But despite the many pros, living on campus can also have its cons.
And one of the negative things about living on campus is because there are so many people in such a small space, sometimes it can get a little bit messy. Sometimes dishes can be left in the communal kitchens, things like that, but we do have cleaners that come every day and clean them.
Heaps of people that have just left home, they go into accommodation. It's like the first time they're living without their parents, so they just, they just want to party and just enjoy the freedom. So you hear lots of stories about people passing out naked in the bathrooms, and I think I heard one guy throwing a mattress and stuff out of his window and stuff.
New reports have uncovered disturbing initiation rituals that occur during orientation week at some of Australia's most prestigious universities. These include graphic accounts of sexual humiliation, extreme drinking games, and forcing new students to partake in disturbing activities such as drinking out of dog balls, public nudity, and getting showered in buckets of dead fish. New reports are warning students of some potential dangers during the first weeks of university. Luckily, nothing of this nature is tolerated here at La Trobe University, and students can rest assured that hazing is not something they have to worry about.
The staff on college are very strict when it comes to rituals surrounding initiation and hazing. They've banned it altogether. So when you do move on to college, sometimes there are fun activities that you do when you start to move on, but they're definitely ethical, they're friendly, and it's more about encouraging everyone to participate and get to know each other rather than forcing them to do activities that they're not comfortable doing.
Paula Martinez reporting, LTYou.
I think it's really good that the university has those policies in place,
Yes.
Coming in as a first year, it can be, you do, I think, have those, American movie of on college ideas in your head.
Rites of passage and all those things, and that can make it overwhelming.
It can, definitely. It'd be scary to come into, I know for me, coming into something like that and having to go through all those initiations and all that sort of thing. So I think it's great that La Trobe recognises that they can get, a little bit crazy sometimes and, stop students from doing that sort of thing.
They do. And now your first year of uni can be a little overwhelming. There are many things to learn, to get your head around. Where do you start and what do you do? I mean, for me, quite a while ago now, but we did sit down with some first year survivors.
We did.
And they told us tricks, tips, and all things we need to know. So let's have a look.
I chose uni because I wanted to further my education and I felt like tertiary studies was the way to go about it. I have to drive a long way every day to get to uni.
The most difficult part would be managing multiple assignments at once, all those as well as keeping up with assignments,
and try to stress myself out of what to do those things at the same time. It's probably the hardest.
Every night at the time you have to say, I'm going to put this aside to do this. If you don't do it, no one's going to say anything. It's all up to you.
I've not really seen the same people I've met around campus though, it's pretty big, so the actual study environment around is fantastic.
Lost on campus, definitely get that out. It helps you actually know where you're going so you can find where to go, where your part is in the end when you go home to use it. Also be prepared for what you're doing later that day as well. Make sure you're doing something that you want to do.
What's the best experience you've had so far?
At uni.
At uni.
Making friends.
Yeah. That Lost on Campus app saved my life.
Oh, likewise.
When I was starting out.
I came from a school of about 700 girls.
Yeah.
And it was a tiny school. You know.
You knew your way around.
Yeah.
You knew
Could
your
get around easily. And then I came to La Trobe and I was like,
it is such a large university, so understandable. I think everyone would have been lost.
I think I heard a statistic that when you include all of our car parks, the wildlife sanctuary, we're actually the same size as the CBD.
No way.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What else is awesome? Movie reviews and
we have the fabulous Paula, our entertainment
Hello, good
guru.
afternoon, guys. Thank you.
She's road testing things for us as students. What we should be paying for, what we shouldn't be paying for, what's rubbish, what's not rubbish.
That's right, and this week I'm doing movie reviews. So on the past week I went and watched 3 of the most anticipated films that have recently come out.
Nice.
And yeah, I've got the review for you guys here and telling you whether it's worth your money or not. So the first one, Tomb Raider. Again, very anticipated film. It is out now and it has gotten mixed reviews from the public. And I've got to say I agree with that. I've also got kind of mixed feelings about it. It is a reboot of the 2000 Lara Croft films with Angelina Jolie, but I actually didn't know this, but it's also an adaptation of the Lara Croft video games. So, you know, I'm not a big fan of video games, but the one constant review that I did find about this film was that it was really adapted really well from the video games. You know, the main character looked and acted the same. A lot of the scenes in the film were actually taken directly from the video game. So I think that if you are a fan of the video games, then you will be for sure happy with this film and satisfied and with how they interpreted it and sort of brought it to life. For me, I thought it had a little bit too much action and not enough plot. It did give me sort of Indiana Jones vibes, but I think the way that this movie differed from Indiana Jones was maybe there was too much running and chasing and stabbing and fighting and not enough plot development. But that's my opinion. If you are keen to just watch, 2 hours straight of chasing and, it is a bit of a nail biter. Yeah. So if you're into the action, it is quite light in the sense that you sort of just watch it and you don't really have to think about it and it's entertaining. The CGI, special effects are great. And awesome. So it is good. Not my favourite. I don't think it lives up to the Indiana Jones national treasures of the movie world. But
Tiny question. Angelina Jolie compared to this new Tomb Raider?
Ooh, yeah, okay, so I think that the Angelina Jolie's character...
Alicia Vikander?
Yeah, Alicia Vikander. Alicia Vikander is, ripped and she does all her own stunts and she's, amazing in that sense. The action film she's really good at. Yeah. But I think that Angelina Jolie did have a little bit more charisma and had a bit more fun with the role. Yeah. Alicia Vikander was kind of too serious, I think, took it too seriously and, so...
It would be scary trying to live up to Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, props to her. She did a pretty good job, I'd say. But Angelina Jolie's character was a little bit more charismatic. But, I mean, overall, she did a really good job, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay, so second review, completely different movie.
Yep.
This is Lady Bird. So
Oh, I want to see
Yeah,
this.
I've heard lots about this.
I was actually, I didn't know about how to feel about this film at the start.
Controversial.
No, at the start, before watching it, I thought it's one of those really artsy films that you kind of just like, like just a bit boring.
Yeah.
But I watched it and I was like blown away. I loved it. The story is really simple, but really engaging and really endearing. So yeah, it's written and directed by Greta Gerwig. It's actually her first film that she directed.
Yep.
And she got like, I think 3 or 4 Oscar nominations.
She did.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure she won a Golden Globe. So, I mean, amazing. She did an amazing job. So yeah, I watched this movie. I loved it. It is very sort of raw and authentic. And I think that's what I love so much about it. You just are able to relate to it a lot. The acting is, great. Saoirse Ronan and the girl who plays the mum, I can't remember what her name is, but they do a really good job and they have really good chemistry on screen.
That's always important.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's sort of, the storyline is really simple. It kind of just follows this teenage girl who lives in mundane suburban Sacramento, and she just has such big dreams for her future and such a hope, but there's so many things standing in her way, and all the relationships in her life are very complicated and layered. And I think, like all of our lives, we have those sort of relationships. So I think especially the mother and daughter relationship is very raw and relatable. I, for sure, was able to relate to it a lot.
Yeah, cool.
So I'd say it's definitely worth watching. Probably, I wouldn't say it's a chick flick.
Yeah.
I think boys could also enjoy it. It's quite funny. But for girls, I think they would be able to relate to it a lot.
Just
and,
on that
and
mother-daughter level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And enjoy it, maybe a lot more than boys. But I don't know.
All right.
I don't want to generalise.
But you would spend your money on that again?
I would for sure spend my money.
Yep.
Yeah, I would spend my money more on that than Tomb Raider. It depends what sort of movies you like, I guess. And then the last one, The Shape of Water. So
yes.
Yeah.
Strange film.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this
Did you
one.
watch it?
It got nominated for a lot of awards again.
It actually won Best Picture at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it. My mum saw it.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents went and see it and my dad didn't really like it. My mum loved it. So
Did you like it?
I actually really liked it. I thought I'd feel weird about it because it's a human falling in love with this like fish man. So I was like, I don't know. But watching it, you kind of understand the relationship and you understand how they get to that point. Written and directed by Guillermo del Toro. He did won Best Picture at the Oscars. I think it's one of his best works. I think it's visually stunning. Every shot is a work of art, I think. The costume and set design, the music, the colours just pop off the screen. So I think that if you're into watching, the really aesthetically beautiful films, you will love this regardless of on whether you like the storyline or not. Yeah. Visually, it's just a piece of art, I think. The storyline is really simple but very unique. Yeah. It has got a bit of a twist in there, and but you do. It is a romantic relationship between these two main characters. Right. She's a deaf. She's mute actually. A cleaner who works in this high top secret facility, so she meets this water dude, and
water dude, I like that.
I don't know what to call him, and they kind of see past each other's inabilities, and and so they are able to relate on a different level, and I think that's really endearing and beautiful to watch. So it's not romantic, I wouldn't say, but it's nice and sweet and endearing. Del Toro does add a bit of random violence and gruesome bits in it, but it kind of does work, and the juxtaposition does sort of add a whole other layer to it. So I think that worked. So yeah, I totally would recommend this movie. Again, I don't think it was too weird. Yeah. I think that, they were able to explain it and give context, and, so... I mean, all 3 movies I really enjoyed.
Out of the 3,
if we had to pick,
as
I
a
think
student.
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
Yeah, but then again, Lady Bird was also really cool. I think the one that I was like not sure about was Tomb Raider. I don't really like too much action in films, but totally. If you are a fan of the video games, then I would say for sure, that one. And if you're watching it at the movies, then Tomb Raider as well, because it's quite.
But with Shape of Water is where you'd suggest big screen?
Yeah, Shape of Water and Tomb Raider. Lady Bird, I feel like you could later get it later and watch it on, because it's not like in terms of the cinematography, it's not that impressive.
Okay, yeah, it's quite
nice,
simple.
Yeah, but it's simple, so...
Yeah. And so Tuesdays, cheap Tuesdays, you'd throw your money at it?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's cool because a lot of those movies had won awards or were nominated.
Yeah.
Apart from Tomb Raider, I don't think that
that
was put over there. But if we put Lady Bird
Yeah.
and Shape of Water.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the actors as well got nominated for Shape of Water.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were all nominated.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 of them were. I don't think anyone won.
No,
Oscars.
but the film, I mean, the biggest props is to get best
And
film.
the acting was, like, incredible in The Shape of Water. Like, you just get so attached to the characters. You love the good ones and you absolutely hate the bad ones. Like, you just get really attached.
I think that's a sign of a really good movie.
Yeah, totally. I think I was just very engaged the whole time. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to be seeing us and we're seeing you every week.
Yes.
As part of the, is it worth your money?
Yes, for sure.
And we've got Twitter where people can tweet you and say, we want you to try this for us.
Yeah, so I can do different things. It doesn't have to be movies. It can be experiences, exhibitions at museums. We were thinking doing maybe Luna Park.
Yeah.
So you guys can totally tweet and, to see what you want to see and whether it's worth your money, and I can go and sort that out for you guys.
And our Twitter handle...
LTYou, that's LTYou 2018. So jump on Twitter, guys, get tweeting during the show, after the show, before the show's even started. If there's something you want us to cover,
let's do it.
Send it through. Let us know what you're thinking, and we can definitely, get across it and fill you in on what's happening.
We'll get onto it.
It can be ridiculous too, because I remember I had an idea about trying all the different meageringues.
That would, I
As
think
a student,
I'm
staple.
keen.
it's a
I'm keen on
staple
doing
in the
that.
student
Or
diet.
the mac and cheeses. We can see which one's the best. Maybe it's Aldi, maybe it's Coles. I don't know. But
Think
you
me
will
going.
find out for us.
Yeah, I for sure will. Maybe that can be the next one.
Maybe. I mean, what else are you looking forward to doing though? Luna Park sounds pretty
Yeah,
fun.
Luna Park, maybe like certain exhibitions that are going on. I know there's a Lego exhibition happening. I'm not sure when actually.
That'd be really cool to go to.
Yeah,
But things like that, we can do different, like maybe artsy things, film thing. I know there's like a film festival, a comedy festival happening.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
lots of options.
That sounds really cool. Is there anything you want to make Paula do?
No, well, there's a lot of interesting things we could make you do. There's some pretty cool escape rooms.
Oh, yeah.
That would be
I'd be
pretty
so
cool
bad
to
at
see.
that.
Because a lot of
Maybe
my
you
friends
could take
have,
Astrid and road test them.
a lot of my friends have really mixed reviews about the escape rooms.
Yeah.
So I've done one and I loved it.
Really?
But
I haven't done one yet. I've
I
wanted
feel like
to.
I'd be so stressed out. I'm so bad at puzzles. Like, there's one thing I'm bad at in this world, it's puzzles. I just get very worked up. But I mean, I can try it out.
Maybe we should go try some of the Pride Day stuff happening out there. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
as far
reckon.
as I'm aware, there's got to be free food out there.
I'm pretty sure.
You'd
there's
think
free
so.
food somewhere.
It looks like it's a festival that's carrying on for another couple of days though. 'Cause
Oh, really?
It's just supporting Pride events. It's
Yeah,
been
awesome.
going for I'd like to say the 21st to the 28th of March.
Is it every Tuesday? Or?
No, it's just this week. This is
Oh,
the fest.
cool.
This is the
Yeah.
Pride Festival week
Oh,
for our
awesome.
university, and it's not just here at our campus. It's all throughout the other campuses as well.
Oh, cool. How exciting.
As far as I'm aware, Joy FM's out there. I don't like to promote other people's radios, but give them a listen after us because that's always a bit of fun. They've got some great presenters on, and
Yeah,
they're all
cool.
out there. You should go and speak to them. They're really funny
Yeah,
people.
for sure, go out there and have a look.
And I'm sure if you jump on the Union Facebook page, jump on the website, they'll have a bit more information on there as well about what's going to be happening throughout the week, so you can make sure you're not missing out on
Yeah,
anything.
for sure. I'll get onto it.
Yep, and look, Easter's coming up. We're going to take a break, even though this is our first show. We're well needed a break already, I think.
We've
So,
done some hard work today.
any Easter plans? What's happening?
Oh, I've got nothing planned, but I'm definitely just like...
Binge eating chocolate.
Yeah,
just
do
gonna
you
sit
guys
and-
do the whole Easter chocolate thing?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, we do. I make mum and
I
dad
don't
do
really
it.
like. I don't really like the Cadbury chocolate that they sell.
Do you have a favourite chocolate?
I like Lindt dark chocolate.
Oh,
I'm a bit
fancy.
fancy.
But look, as much as we could probably talk about chocolate all day.
Yeah.
We're
I
coming to
definitely
an end
could.
of our first show. It's all we've got time for, but remember, we're always here
We
for
will be
discussion.
back.
We will be back. And we'd love to hear from you, as we said before, on our Twitter. It's been a pleasure,
Definitely has. Thank
Paula.
you so much.
I look
Thank
forward
you
to the
guys.
next adventure.
So do I. Let's see what it's about.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Please join us every Tuesday for lunch. It's on us.